Biological organisms need to be classified in groups so that we can understand them better. In biology, one can use anatomical traits to create biological groups, but also the sequence similarities of biological molecules, such as the amino acid order of proteins or the nucleotide order of nucleic acids, can be used. And so in this study, more than 4,300 loci of genomes, sites where genes are located, were compared among 90 different mammalian taxa. And so, as a result of these comparisons, organisms were grouped based on their similarities. And so, some organisms are classified together in the same genus because of how similar they are. Some organisms are classified together as a subfamily, or a family, or a suborder, or an order. And the orders of mammals are given here in the purple capital text. So, for example, the primates, their genetic sequences are more similar to each other than to any member outside the primate order, which is genetic evidence supporting their classification together. Now, the lengths of the lines indicate the degree of difference observed between these groups. And it's interesting that the difference between, say, humans and chimpanzees is actually rather minor when compared to the degree of difference which separates, say, other monkeys or prosimians, like, such as different types of lemurs. One can then compare other mammals which are not primates and observe the same pattern. So rodents seem to be related to each other. There is a nested hierarchy of relationships where some rodents are more closely related to each other than they are to others. And in rodents, this then justifies the classification into families and subfamilies and suborders, etc. But then rodents are classified in the order Rodentia, and rabbits are classified in the related order Lagomorpha. Rabbits are actually outside the group which contains the other rodents. And then one observes this pattern continue. Whales are related to each other, and they are actually related to the even-toed herbivores, which we call artiodactyls, such as cows and sheep, etc. So there is the group which includes both whales and these even-toed ungulates, the Setae artiodactyla. The odd-toed herbivores, such as horses and rhinos, are classified together in the Perissodactyla, and the carnivorous mammals, cats and bears, and dogs are related to each other, but to varying degrees. So, for example, dogs and bears are in a suborder, while cats and viverids are in a different suborder, and so forth. So, whether it be bats or elephants and other groups native to Africa, or the armadillos and sloths native to South America, or marsupials, we see that biological groups exist. Animals are more closely related to certain other animals, mammals in this case, than they are to others. And so one can create, through this genetic evidence, a series of biological groups where you have mammals more closely related to each other within the group than any is to any mammal outside the group. The marsupial mammals and then the monotreme mammals, those which lay eggs, are the most distantly related. And so one can create an organization of mammal groups, a phylogeny, from sequence comparisons, as was done in this study. This is simply one study of thousands. This is a very common way of studying the relationships between organisms.